Okay, welcome to this tutorial on your first tutorial on Flash. First thing I want to tell you is I taped this thing or recorded it using the high resolution. So if you're on one of those computers that has the old monitors and your resolution is low, what you're going to want to do is, let me do this, right click and go to your properties of your screen, and you're going to want to change your settings and make sure to put them up to 1280 by 1024. Otherwise, the video is you're going to have to be scrolling back and forth, so it's kind of nasty. Or you could watch it on YouTube if I put this on YouTube, because it'll make it fit your screen better. So I would recommend they'll put up to 1280 by 1024. You may have to bring your color down a little bit if you got an old monitor and you can't handle it. But that's the first thing I wanted to just touch on that. Now let's come on out to the lesson. Now, the idea behind this first project is I want to give you a basic introduction to Flash, the interface, how to use some of the tools like the pen tool and the curve points and object drawing. I want to have all those basic stuff in Flash, but I also at this very same time want to introduce you to the concept of some camera shots in different angles, kind of like your fundamental camera shots and angles that you need when you're making a video. Now, why are we talking about video with Flash? Well, because Flash is like one of the best programs for doing animation. So an animation is really, even though you're drawing things, animation really is, you have to think like a director, like a video, and you have to think about your different cameras, and do you want a long shot, do you want a high angle, and all that kind of stuff. So I want to introduce you to that idea behind that. So you have to come out here and click on this little reading assignment. It's a very quick one. I just linked it out here, but it's got some great descriptions of the basic shots that all videos, TV shows, animations all use. So extreme long shot, medium shot, close-up, extreme close-up, and then the different angles. So just take a minute. I'm going to pause my video, and you guys pause it and go out and read this. It won't take you a few minutes, and then come on back when you're done, and we'll continue. Okay, so I read it, you read it. Now go ahead and open up Flash, if you haven't done that already, and we're going to create a new Flash document from scratch, and pops open like this. Now I have my color mixer open already. If you don't have your color mixer open, you can just go over to Window, and then you can turn on your color mixer or your line panel and all the different things. You'll notice it's not, it's kind of got a similar feel to Fireworks. Get your tools over here on the left. The one main difference is the timeline up here in the top. These are all the different frames, and they're already, basically sitting here ready, waiting for me. Versus if you remember in Fireworks, when you made your animations, you'd always start with just one frame, and then as you added frames, they would start stacking up over here vertically, and it was kind of awkward, especially if you made an animation with, like 15, 20, or 30 frames, and it would really start to fill up. Versus Flash, just on one screen on this resolution that I'm on, I've got 75 frames, that I can view right now, and of course you can just keep scrolling. So you can tell it's right away from the start, Flash is being designed for animation, for making lots and lots of frames. That's its strength. So and your layers are over here too. So I'm going to start with text tool, a little introduction. So I'm going to click on the little A, and we're going to call this assignment. How about I'm calling it drawing in Flash and basic camera shots. Kind of two birds in one stone deal. Now notice with the text tool, when I start to type, it just automatically create a text box. I hit enter to bring it down. I'm going to highlight my text, center it up, and I'm going to pick a nice cool font, whatever you want to use. Find something. What was the one I liked? Okay, so I found this font kind of strange. It's kind of got a good look to it. But if I just leave it like this, it's kind of hard to read. So I started messing around with the spacing between the letters. And you can do that with this thing. So you could increase the space, put a little more gap between my letters, maybe increase their size a little bit. And now I'm going to grab that box and make it a little wider so I can try to fit more on. Drawing in Flash and basic camera shots. Doesn't look so good. Maybe get bold. Alright. And I'll mess around with that later. And then the next thing I want to do is Yeah, this font doesn't, it's so big it doesn't fit very well. I'm gonna delete some of my text. So if you want to change your text, you just double click to go into the text box, and then once you go in there you can highlight stuff. I'm just gonna call this basic camera shots. How about that? And then I'm gonna add another text box down here, and I'm gonna draw it out ahead of time how big I want it. Get over there. Like how wide. And it remembers my font from before. I'm gonna change this font up. I use this. How about this one? Kind of crazy. And I'm gonna have a little thing, thinking like an animator. And what I want to show you with this is I want to show you how you can use your filters. Notice when you're typing, your properties box down here, you've got an extra little piece over here where it says properties is one tab, and then filters is on the side. And filters, if you remember from fireworks, is like where you add things like drop shadows. So I'm going to go over here to the plus sign. I'm going to say, hey, I want to add a little drop shadow to that, and then I can change it, maybe whatever, maybe decrease the strength a little bit. I don't know why it's popping over there. And I could do a knockout, kind of makes it white like that. That'd be cool if you had a background on it, color background, or an inner shadow. Doesn't look very good. So you could play around a little bit with that, and then maybe add on a little glow. And maybe that glow should be, instead of black, maybe like a little blue. Get rid of that black. Now if you get an extra pen and you want to get rid of it, you grab it, hold on to it, and then pull it down, and then you can get rid of it. There. Had a hard time grabbing it. Finally. So, I know it doesn't look so great, but you can mess around a little bit with that. So you can play around with different filters that you can add to text. It's kind of nice. I don't know if there's an outline for that. A cool one you can do is a bevel, give it a little different look, blur part of it, whatever. So now this is all in frame 1, and that little dot up there means it's a keyframe. Keyframes are part of the language of animation. If you remember from fireworks, when you made 2 keyframes, then fireworks could tween between them. So you can make like a keyframe with a face here, and then a head, and then over here you make another keyframe, and then when you told fireworks, it would fill in all the spaces in between it. So there's basically 2 types of frames. There's keyframes, or there's just regular frames. And keyframes are whenever there's something new. So for this project, we're all going to be doing keyframes each time. We're going to start a new keyframe for each slide. You almost think of it like a PowerPoint show, slide after slide. So I'm going to go to my next frame right here, right next to it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. So now I can start another one, and this one's going to be my table of contents. So call contents, and this is where I'm going to lay out all of the basic pages. So I'll pause this and just type them in. Well, I selected the black thing instead of the text box. Control Z, undo that, throw that in. Okay, and I'll pause for a second. Okay, so here I am with my second frame, and I've got my table of contents, and I just listed these shots out. So you can just pause the video here and just type these in. These are going to be the different pages that we're going to do. We're going to do an example of an extreme long shot, a close-up, an extreme close-up, a bird's eye view angle, a high-low angle, an oblique or a Dutch angle. It's kind of a crooked angle, and then an example of lead space. And we're going to do different tools along the way to make each one of these slides. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just save my work, and I'm just going to save it into my H drive here, and I'll put it into the Flash lessons, and I'm going to call this one drawing, composing for like shot composition, composing shots, drawing, composing 2. See, I started another one earlier, but I'll call this one 2, so you can call yours whatever. And now I will, that'll be it for this part 1 of the video, and you can go ahead now and open up the second video. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and do that extreme long shot, and I'll introduce you to the drawing tools and some of that stuff.